Howdy, it's Kevin, one of your top 10 favorite Earth2 YouTubers from Earth2 Mastery, and tonight we try to take over the world. So grab your pencil sharpener because this video is going to get right to the point. Today I want to go over some of the upgrades on Earth2 with you and let you know whether or not you're going to have high-powered equipment to run the game. So first things first, I've got my discount code in the description down below. If you decide to buy some new tiles, I greatly appreciate you using that code. It gets each of us a 5% rebate. You don't get a rebate if you don't use somebody's code, so you might as well use mine. And also, if you use the code, leave a comment down below, like the video, and you are a subscriber. You will be entered to win one of the tiles on our island in Grenada. I have a winner from last night's video. I'll share that with you at the end of this video. So stick around and see who won. Okay, guys, so this happened today. Keem from @Keemstar on Twitter. I don't know who he is. I never followed him before, but I seen this picture circulate, and so I went on Twitter to make sure that it was legit, and it was. He's got 2.8 million followers. He said at Earth2.io, amazing. Now, I don't know what he was replying to. Maybe he just watched the terrain video. Yesterday, I had watched the terrain video on my phone to begin with, and I thought it was great. I thought it looked really good. I did not have a full appreciation for it until I watched it on the computer. Till I watched it later on a PC on high def with a big screen, I didn't have a true appreciation for how amazing it was. It was very, very clear, very impressive. It's great work. If it looks like that when we are in VR, we're in for a real treat, especially since they're rendering the entire world that way. I mean, anybody can make a detailed picture. Not anybody. I can't because I'm not artistic. But anybody who knows what they're doing can make a highly detailed small area. But to make a highly detailed entire copy of the Earth, it's going to be amazing. You just pop anywhere on Earth and be in that biome. Incredible. Okay, guys, so I wanted to show you that tweet. Let's get into it over here. Just so you know, I was out in the Austrian countryside today taking some photographs on my nature walk. Let's go through those. It's a meadow that I took a picture of. I got some flowers here and some rocks. I got some sun. I saw some sunflowers out there in the middle of the forest. Took a picture with the pine tree backdrop. Here I am a little deeper in the woods. Took some close-ups of the foliage there, share with you guys. I just wanted to share them with you. And saw a city off in the distance there. Beautiful city. Oh, these aren't real photographs? Sorry to say, guys, I guess these aren't real photographs. These are 4K shots from the Earth2 terrain video. And I don't know about you guys, but I had not noticed that there was a city in the background there. There's some buildings. You and I could own those pretty soon, I think. We'll see what kind of buildings we can build on our own plots, but I'm sure that those right there are available in the game, they look pretty cool. I mean, I know I didn't get to build them myself and customize them, but as long as I can pick decent buildings to put on my properties, and we actually have cities that look like this that we're going to be able to walk through and move up and down streets that are in between. I'm still wondering how the streets are going to work, if everybody's going to have a street, or possibly around the outside of the buildings will be areas for streets to connect in between the lots. Obviously, no, they probably don't even know exactly how it's going to work yet. But when you get buildings that close together, there's going to have to be walkways or streets so that we can walk in between the buildings and get to different buildings, because you're not going to want to teleport everywhere. You're going to be walking and driving when it's just a couple blocks down the street. I'm not going to teleport from one end of the street to the other end of the street. Now, I might want to teleport from one city to another city because I don't want to spend 30 minutes driving there, or if it's all the way across the world, spend, 20 hours driving there. Clearly, I'm not going to do that. But when it's just a couple of buildings down the street, or when I just want to see what's going on in the city, I'm gonna walk through or drive through, ride a hoverboard through, whatever options I have, take my jetpack up over the buildings, whatever I can do. I don't want to get disoriented and turned around when I could just walk over there. Okay, so what we have is Earth2 put out these pictures because they said, a lot of people don't have high def, they weren't watching it in high definition, so they wanted you to be able to see pictures. Now, these pictures probably still aren't even coming through in the high definition that's going to be available if you're playing the game and you have your settings done right. I know the first time I watched the video, I was like, what's going on? And then I realized that my YouTube was defaulting to 480p, so I put it on high def, watched it again. It looked really good on the phone. Still did not look near as amazing as it did later when I watched it on the PC. But that brought up a question because I was like, wow, man, with this really high def stuff, are we going to be able to play it on the equipment that we have right now? We're going to have to all go out and buy new equipment. Are we going to be able to run it on a VR headset? What's going on here? And so apparently that was a question that they'd already thought of. Now, they did say that they're doing some final testing and they're rolling out Essence and a few other key features soon. You'll notice that test website that we were looking at that had the Earth2 property locations, the portals that we've been talking about for a while, are now available on the actual Earth2.io website. So we know that Earth2, Stage 2 Earth2 website was actually their test website because now they've implemented some of those changes on the main website. So you can go in there and look at your Earth2 property locations. They said that production of Essence will roll out soon, and then we should be able to start working on our own domain names. Here we go with their, I did not see this at first. They sent it out again in the Discord along with the high definition photos. It says commencement of phase 2 is almost upon us, but during phase 2, a dedicated team will continue working on phase 3. They've got to constantly progress. I see a lot of people on the Facebook page trying to say that they should just not progress and that they should work on a withdrawal system. Well, I disagree because they're spending money. They are spending money hiring people, building the game, paying for server space. That money has to come from somewhere. If all you do is sit here and let people withdraw their money from the game and you never progress, there's going to be more and more people withdrawing their money from the game. Markets are going to collapse. The devs are going to run out of money, and then they're not going to be able to refund everybody. They're not going to be able to let everybody withdraw their money anyway. Look at economics. You have to, if a business has paid its bills, it has to have income coming in. It's got to have accounts receivable to pay its accounts payable. If all of a sudden it just says, you know what, I'm not going to do business anymore until I pay off all my accounts, it's not going to have the money to pay its accounts. There has to be cash flow. And in order for there to be cash flow, they need to keep the game progressing so that we keep spending money, so that new people spend money. I don't understand why this is so hard for people to understand. You think if Amazon quit having any customers that they could still pay their bills? No, they can't. So the devs need to pay their bills. The devs need to have money on hand to let the people that want to withdraw. There's a lot of scammers out there that are screwing people over and stealing their properties, hacking into their accounts and stealing their properties. If one of those hackers got you, you wouldn't want them to be able to withdraw your money right away. So you need to let them do what they need to do in order to get these withdrawals done. They've experienced a tremendous amount of growth in a short period of time. They're trying to fast track changes so they keep all their user base happy and to keep new people coming in. I just don't know what to tell you. Like, if you can't live for a couple months without the money that you put in there, maybe you shouldn't have put the money in there, If you're broke and you can't put money into a game without immediately getting it back out, without starting to cry and freak out, then you probably shouldn't be putting money in the game to begin with. I understand that people want their money back, but you're going to have to give them a break. I want the game to progress. I want the game to be built. I want the game to be built properly so that I can play it, so that you can play it. Hopefully, long-term, our property is worth a lot and we get a consistent income from it. But if we don't, then, at least hopefully we have a good game to play. I mean, if we just drain them of all of the money and resources that we put into them, in addition to all of the money that they've had to outlay because of all the new user base, then we're not going to have a game, and we're not going to have any property, and we're not going to have any income or financial growth. So I'm getting kind of tired of people just crying all the time about the withdrawals. People are getting their withdrawals. It just takes a while. Anyway, now that my rant is over, Earth2 will have the approximated look of Earth1 with its many biomes like grassland, forest, tropical, desert, tundra, and marine. So they've already got that all planned out. When we went up into space and then looked back down, we could see that there were oceans out there, coastlines. Clearly, there's going to have to be tundra so that we can have Antarctica and Alaska. desert. There's desert all over the world. That's probably, I would say that besides water, I'll bet you there's probably more desert than anything. In fact, some of the tundra is even desert because of the, I think Antarctica is a desert, if I'm not mistaken, because there's very low precipitation there. So that's still considered a desert, like under 9 inches a year or something like that. Although what we've created to date is certainly spectacular, improvements are constantly being made. Terrain shadows, smooth level of detailed transitions on the objects, volumetric lighting, more advanced placement, better 3D models, improved shading, etc. The video is created to show you what our team can do and what concept for the future of the Earth2 project may look like. Well, we know that Nathaniel is very skilled. We know that he's built good terrain systems before. We see this one and it is amazing. So I have no doubt that the terrain is going to be good. I heard birds chirping in the background. I hope that there's like birds flying around and stuff like that. I can't wait to see what they do with the wildlife. I personally would like to be able to go hunting in the game. I think that would be fun, especially if it's a VR hunting type thing where you could be walking through the woods, take down a deer. Maybe you can harvest some food that way. I'm sorry for any vegetarians that are watching, but I think that would be fun in game. Performance is very important to us, as we want to support the widest range of hardware and platforms possible while we aim for massive immersion. So that's what I wanted to talk about here. The terrain system and object rendering system of the E2 engine are extremely optimized, using all kinds of innovations to render outside of the box, giving many magnitudes more performance than traditional rendering. And see, this is the behind the scene, the terrain engine is what's really important. You can show me other games that have good terrain rendering, nice, beautiful scenery. Can you show me other games that can do that quickly on low quality hardware on a place the size of the Earth? I don't think you can. So the optimization is what is important, right? You can build a site like Facebook in a couple of weeks, probably, if you're a good developer. I mean, like I said, I can't do that. I can't build anything, but you could build a Facebook copy. Can you optimize it the way that Facebook is for billions of users? That's the tough part right there. You get, 1,000 users and your site's going to crash. Facebook handles billions of users and runs seamlessly. Now, I don't really like Facebook or their politics or their censorship. I don't like their fact checking constantly. But the bottom line is their website is completely optimized and runs smoothly 99% of the time. If this terrain system runs smoothly, like Facebook runs smoothly, then that is the true test of the developer. It's not just the way it looks. And Farron Galvin is going to be polishing up too, because he's one of the artists on the project too, from what I hear. And he is going to be going in and making even more detail and making it perfect. So you've got Nathaniel is doing the terrain generating system. And then you've got Farron that's going to go back behind and make everything just detailed and perfect, make the rocks where they look a little bit smooth, make them more detailed, make them more realistic. This isn't even the final product. And I don't care what they show you over the next year or two, that's not the final product either. You need to be able to roll out your game in segments if you want it to be long lasting and good quality. You could throw out a game tomorrow that's just complete crap, and then we could start playing it. I'll tell you right now, I was playing Upland earlier today because I wanted to check it out and see what it is. I don't even understand it. It's a stupid game. I'll do a video on it just because I signed up for it and you guys might be interested in it, or people may be wondering what it is. But it doesn't even make any sense. I couldn't figure out how to use it. The user interface is not very good. I had to go in the Discord and ask questions, and the people there were helpful, so that's nice, but I don't even get the point of it. It's a pointless game. They're trying to create a fun game here with games inside of games. They said that it's going to be hard to do user-generated buildings. Now, hopefully, eventually, I hope that we can do user-generated buildings. But what I think, just from my simple mind might be easier is if they had specific building materials in the game that were already rendered that we could then arrange the way that we wanted to. Similar to Minecraft, but obviously more attractive and detailed. And also more versatile. But if they did something like that, then because they're saying, well, you can't just have thousands of different buildings for this to be rendered. But maybe if they looked at it as being small segments that were already preloaded into the game, it wouldn't really be rendering a building. It would be rendering each of those little segments, which it already recognizes. So I'm wondering if that's how they're going to go, where we can still build our own buildings and still build our own stuff, but it's going to have to be made up of preloaded parts, which I think would be fine as long as they have a wide array of parts for us to choose from. Well, they said you might think the E2 engine will fry your GPU, but that's not the case as it's extremely optimized. For example, the entire terrain mesh is rendered with only 8 draw cells and 1 material without using any tessellation. The terrain system is very downscalable for lower hardware and lower settings and still gives a great look. That probably is kind of like what I was looking at on my phone when I was watching 480p. I was like, yeah, this is good looking, but it's not anything spectacular. Well, guess what? If you have low quality hardware, it's still good looking. So people are going to be able to play it on their phone with a mediocre internet connection, and they're still going to be having a good experience. People that are playing it on gaming PCs or on 4K screens are going to have a tremendous experience. I just hope it looks this good in a VR headset. Here's some more pictures that they had. Texture quality can be halved in revolutions, like 1/2, 1/4, 1/8, etc. The close-up view detail of the terrain mesh can be chosen. And it's just amazing what they've got going on here. Far draw distance, the draw distance of the terrain mesh can be chosen, so you can zoom in and out. The LOD distances of the objects can be chosen. You guys that have technical skills and qualities probably know better than me. All reductions in the above not only reduce the geometry needed to render, but also reduces a lot of the memory needed on the CPU and GPU. Renders and streams the area where the Alps starts. Okay, so this was just running down what was in the video. We hope that our goals and dreams will translate into your goals and dreams, and that your imagination can start to run wild with the possibilities we envisage Earth2 bringing to the world. Thank you for your support and belief. It's a driving force for the whole Earth2 team, and we genuinely get excited each time we work on something new for our extended family, you. Okay, but everybody's beating them up, and all we want is a good game. That's all I want is a good game, and I want them to roll it out when it's good enough that it's enjoyable and not off-putting, but I don't want them to wait until it's perfect to roll it out. Everybody's like, oh, that's not perfect. Well, I don't want it to be perfect, because if you strive for perfection, that's nice. If you wait to achieve it before we can play the game, we're never going to play the game. I want to get in there on my land. I want to be in there on my VR property. That's what I want. I want to go in there and walk around on the property and be in the wilderness. And I want to be able to go hunting, and I want to play games. Right, that's what I want to do. So I'm waiting for them to start releasing gameplay, and that's all that I'm going to say about that. And it looks like we're going to be able to play it on our phone, probably at the same time we can play it on a computer, and hopefully we can play it in VR soon. Okay, guys, so I've got a winner from last night's video. Guy Blackwell was asking, will there be weather systems? I think that there will be. Probably, I know there's some other crypto games that have natural disasters. And then I joked around and said, well, maybe I'll start an insurance company in Earth2, and then I can be the Warren Buffett of Earth2. We'll see. I don't know. Maybe it's a good idea. We'll just have to see what kind of weather systems are in there. I don't think it would make much sense if there wasn't snow and rain, because they're going to have night and day. Why wouldn't they have snow and rain and wind? You can see in the video that the grass and the flowers are swaying in the breeze. Is it going to be exactly the same? Is it going to have the same causes as Earth 1? I don't know about that. It's probably hard to mimic that. It's a much more difficult creation to create something like the real Earth than it is the Earth 2. But I'll tell you what, that video that they rolled out does go a long ways towards evidence for, if they put it in VR, that goes a long ways towards evidence for simulation theory. So we're going to have to talk more about that on another video. Guy, you can get a hold of me through Facebook. I've got my link to my group in the description, or you can get a hold of me through Discord. Private message me there so I can get you a link to the tile where you can bid a penny and get your land in Grenada. Thank you very much, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow.